to people on the people because Amy and Brad are setting up their
live stream.
What are you live streaming on?
Facebook today, yeah.
Okay, Facebook.
But then we will download it and put it on our YouTube channel.
Okay, how do you do that then?
You just save it on your phone. So when you're doing it on your phone, whatever device you're doing it, just save it to your phone.
So you can save your live stream.
It's a big old file, but you know, then you upload it for something else.
But no, but that's fine because I always now tend to do a video after the show rather than a live because I want to post it elsewhere. I didn't know you could download. See, that's why we have these people on.
There you go.
Give us a tip.
The more you know.
Exactly. I'm dangerous. Watch out. So, welcome back. You are listening to the Business Bunker Extra Radio Show on bizradio.co.uk and channelradio.co.uk/2. That's just far too long. It is Friday, the 18th of January. I am joined in the studio today by my fabulous co-host, Gemma Fairclough-Haynes of Orchard Employment Law.
Good morning.
Good morning. And our guests, as you already heard, are the fabulous McManuses.
Morning.
Hello.
From AM Marketing.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now, you guys, as I say, it was actually a little while ago you was last on. You know, it goes so fast.
It goes so quickly, yeah.
I just forget. You know, it feels like just last week.
Yeah, it was not last summer, the summer before, because it was boiling, and we were all in t-shirts and dresses and stuff. It was absolutely boiling, yeah.
It's just not good enough. I apologise for not having you back on again soon.
No, it's alright.
It's
It's like a treat. It's the McManus treat. You don't get us all the time.
No.
Just a sprinkling every year.
But you do work in the fabulous world of digital marketing.
We do indeed.
And as most people will know, you know, anything digital and tech is so fast moving, and sometimes it's you know it's hard to keep up with what you need to be doing as a business. And
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard for us to keep up,
Well,
to be honest. Even our, because as you know, we're a Google partner, but even our Google exams that we have to take every year, we have to take them every year. You have to re-qualify every single year.
What do you have to do? What type of questions are there in a Google exam?
So there's loads of different ones. There used to be sort of the 6 core ones, but now there's dozens of them. But it can be anything. You'll have your set subjects. So Google search marketing, such as PPC. Then you'll have Google mobile. You'll have Google digital website exam. You'll have Google video exam. And they all look at the different subject matter for that different Google product. So there'll be one on YouTube, one on mobile ads, one on search ads. There's loads of different ones.
And the questions fall into different groups. So some stuff will just be, what does this term mean? And other stuff will be things like, I don't know, Jeff has this business and he wants to do X, Y, or Z. What is the best thing for him to do?
Yeah.
And that's like the entry exams. And you got some more advanced ones, and they are very, very specific, nerdy details about how to activate a specific form of advertising.
So I guess it's just confirming as Google partners that you know everything about Google.
Absolutely.
And how to put it across to your clients.
Exactly.
And where do you go to learn this information? So is there like a Google school?
Yeah, it's called.
There is.
There is.
You know what they do? They ask Google.
Yeah, it's actually called Google Academy.
Academy for ads.
An academy for ads. So you can either, there's some are taught up in London at their headquarters. So if it's a new exam that's just come out, generally we'll go up to London and get a whole day training on it. Or it's done online and you have all your training materials there, there's videos, etc.
Wow.
I have to ask this question. Okay, this is a little bit, it's to do with Google. Does Google know everything?
Yes.
And you know I have to ask this question because Paul believes that they do, what Google does, and I keep telling him Google doesn't know everything. So I thought, you know, we ask the official people that, you know. And apparently, yeah. But Paul's not listening to this, so he won't know if it's right, so that's fine.
You should pass that off air.
A lot of people do rely on Google, and I guess, joking aside, it depends on how you ask your question to how it will be answered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're always able to find the information that fits the question you're proposing. Even if your question results in an incorrect answer, you'll be able to find something that confirms it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is where you get the issues with things like fake news and propaganda and things like that. You can always find the answer that suits what you think, which is the issue. But yeah, Google doesn't know everything. It knows
100%.
You know, if you recently got engaged, if you just got married, how many kids you have, like your level of affluence, sort of where you sit in terms of how much your household income. Some things that are sort of assumed doesn't know.
Right.
But because we give Google so much information through our Gmail accounts, through YouTube, through any Google product that we use, you know, you're basically telling Google. And through your searching habits as well.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing. We're just going to stick with like Google, but basically now, because we're just presuming everybody knows who AM Marketing are if you don't look at the website, because I'm interested.
Everyone knows who AM Marketing are, yeah. ammarketing.co.uk.
An event you spoke at towards the end of last year, the digital
Kickstart, yes.
You did something very interesting where you could look up
what Google knows about you, what Google thinks you are,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Which is quite scary.
How do you do that?
Exactly. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so Brad will find the link. There is ad preferences. You have Google ad preferences, and you can go online and see what Google thinks you are. And I love to have this competition because I always think if Google doesn't know who you are, you've sort of won.
Yeah.
Is
So
that a good thing? That's a good thing. Though.
Yeah, I think it's a good. I like to think it's a good thing because I think, haha, I fooled you.
The thing you have to remember is that a lot of this stuff is based on information that you've already given it. So it shouldn't be a surprise when it gets your age and gender right because.
You put it into your Gmail account or
what's interesting is when you tell it how old you are and it still thinks that it goes, well, I don't quite believe that because your behaviour is of a different age
You're
range.
only 15.
Do you have that problem often?
Yes.
You're not really that old. You're only about 12.
There was a point that I was quite proud of for a couple of months where Google didn't know if I was a man or a woman. And I think it's because I look at a lot of because I do rifle shooting competitively, because I was thinking that they were like, oh well, a woman wouldn't want to look at that. Yeah.
So basically, you're saying the Google sexist.
Google sexist, yeah. Exactly.
Can we say that on air?
Yeah, don't say that to Google. We still love Google very much.
Yeah, we love Google. Yeah, thank you very much for giving us business. But yeah, what's the website, Brad?
So if you just go to adssettings.google.com, Google will, if you scroll down a little bit on your phone, it will give an example of what it thinks to, bits of demographic information, but also what it feels you're interested in. And that could be anything from a general, I'm into video games, or it could be a specific gaming company or anything. So I'm looking at mine, and we're moving house very soon. So the top of my list is everything to do with furnishings,
home
like
decorating,
plumbing, decorating,
sofas.
Like I've got Argos on here, Dunelm.
Sorry, can I, with sofas, just like a slight aside. So I bought a sofa this year.
Yes.
And I realised that my husband and I are not compatible. So just be careful, okay?
Oh,
not
because
really.
you have different. We have
We
different
have so much
tastes in.
different
Yeah.
taste. Didn't know this until we bought a sofa.
What you do is in marriage compromise and then just get what you want.
Compromise. Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. Yeah, I
That's
see.
what- yeah,
But the key
compromise.
is just give him an area, a very small area. And be like,
You
do
may
what
have
you want.
this drawer.
I'm getting an
Yeah.
entire room.
You are. Yeah.
But there's a whole house. Did you
Yeah,
realise?
yeah. That's the skill. That's the skill. I'm getting a room, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. See what I've done there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know how to become
So remind me, adsettings.google.
Yeah, so it's ads settings, so ADS settings.
Yeah.
.google.com.
And it'll tell you, we had some amazing ones. The reason I did it at Kickstart Digital is one for people to see what sort of information is kept about them, but also you normally get some really quite cool ones, or you get a few weird ones. So we had a lady there who apparently was interested in burlesque dancing.
Okay.
And we're thinking, okay then,
yeah.
right there. And we had some really interesting ones. There was a gentleman who his came up with lingerie. I think a very brave guy, putting his hand up and telling a whole room that. But then also you can change them yourself. So if you're getting ads that aren't relevant to you and you're getting annoyed by them, you can go into your ad settings here and you can say, well, no, I'm not interested in that. And then so Google will no longer provide you with ads on that subject. So you cater your ad settings to what may actually be genuinely interesting to you.
There's a huge thing about ad personalisation, which is a massive part of what we do. So, we always say to people, some people say they don't like online ads. They just don't like them. But I say, well, they're going to be there no matter what happens. So would you rather have an ad that's relevant to what you're interested in, or something that's wholly, nothing to do with anything you're ever going to purchase? If you go to this, and like I said, mine's very dominant about moving home at the moment, but I certainly don't want it to remain that way. So I can go in and just remove a few things, and then it will have a better idea of the things that I'm actually interested in. and it means when I do get ads on Google that they actually make sense to me.
Yeah, it might be something that you actually want to buy or something that you're actually looking for.
And I guess that's the other thing, another way of looking at it as well, is you can control, then if you know, you can control actually how much information it is
Exactly,
out there.
exactly. And you can turn it off completely.
Yeah.
And then you will still get ads, and they'll be completely inappropriate and random and nothing to do with what you like.
One thing I have learned, it's really useful for leaving subtle suggestions for presents.
Yes.
Very useful, especially when you go onto Amazon and they use the same Amazon accounts, and then those pictures come up on their Facebook.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic way of leaving subtle.
And then they think it's their idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you, Google. It is great. Now we probably can go on about this for hours, but I do want us to touch on, you know, what's going on, what's coming up in the digital world of marketing.
Absolutely. So we were thinking about because there's so much going on, but we're thinking about what's going to be most relevant to your listeners and what people are going to really be thinking about. So we've made a little list for you, and the main thing I would say is about websites. Now, we've spoken about this before, and I think we spoke about it on the show before, but there's been a lot of Google algorithm changes this year that change the way that websites are ranked. So change what websites come up, what websites don't come up. And years ago, it used to be that if you had a website that was made really well and the SEO was perfect and it was all about the technical aspect of the website, then you'd get ranked highly. Now that's not the case anymore. Although it's obviously really important that your website's made well, it's shifted, so it's much more about the user experience, or the UX as we call it. So it's about, can someone navigate through your website easily? Can they get to every page from every other page within 3 clicks? And fast loading speeds. That's what it's all going to be about this year. So it's particularly on mobile. Oh god, Amanda doing it.
Super zoom.
Super zoom, as Amanda said. Be cool. Just keep on going. So yeah, it's all about fast loading. So if you've got a website that loads in under 5 seconds, just don't even bother. Essentially.
No, you want that, Amy.
No, what do you mean?
Oh, sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Sorry, it has to load in under 5 seconds. Swap that round. Yeah, swap it around. So if it loads, if it loads quicker than 5 seconds, that's what you want. Anything above, no.
Right, so 5 seconds is your...
I mean, 5 seconds is the absolute maximum.
Yeah.
The thing is, what we're
Really,
looking
you should say
into
2.
is that the algorithmic changes that are coming in Google's ranking to show basically where your website ranks when people look for things, speed is going to be more important than ever.
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly, if your website loads in 1 second, you will generally rank better than somebody who loads in 5. But it's going to become a more important factor because predominantly, and this isn't new information, mobile traffic is so huge now, and generally people on mobile are quite impatient.
Yeah. So I recently learned that I had an image, I have a big image of myself on my website, surprise, and then I was told that I needed to reduce the image because that image was slowing down my website.
Yeah.
How rude.
Well, it's fine. You can reduce the size if you're clever and you know what you're doing. You can reduce the size of an image without affecting the quality of the image too much. And also you can delete things like metadata, the thing that in the background that says what camera it's taken on, the size of it, etc. You can delete all that data to reduce the size of an image as well. But image size is such a huge issue where people upload images to their website without compressing them, and it just takes forever to load, and someone on mobile just isn't going to wait.
So is that the same for video? Because we keep hearing you must have video on your website, but is that taking up space or not?
Yeah,
So
it
if
will
you
take
upload
space.
the video to your website directly, it's going to take up quite a large amount of space. What you can do, and what we often do, is you can place that video on another site, such as YouTube or Vimeo or many others, and you just embed the video on your site. So you just basically say it lives somewhere else, and I'm just going to pull in a link, and a website like YouTube or Vimeo load very, very fast.
So you still get the credit for having video.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
It takes a lot of stress off of your website's loading speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just testing out my website here. 1, 2, 3. And when you say load,
Yes.
do you mean fully load, ready to fire?
Yeah, ready to go.
So, for example, with my new website, it loads within the 5 seconds. The video comes in a little bit after the 5 seconds, so the page is loaded. If you scroll down, you can see the pictures, you can see what else is there. But it's just the video at the top is a couple of seconds after that.
You talk to us afterwards, Amanda, because also you're on Wi-Fi here. Most people will be roaming, so it assesses generally when people are roaming, if they're on 3G or 4G, how long it's going to take when they're not connected to a fast Wi-Fi. Yeah. And that's the issue, is that when you test your Wi-Fi and you test your website in your office, of course it's going to be fast because you're connected to your Wi-Fi, but it's going to be different for people and your customers when they're on the mobile, just perhaps walking down the street or going about their day.
And so Google are going to start are using it. Are you using it already?
They're already definitely using it already
for ranking you.
Yes.
With how fast. And I know I always watch your videos because I thought, why do I need to do that? That's great. And there was one, it was probably a little while ago now, but it was about making sure that you had a secure site, so the HTTP.
Yes, exactly. So what a lot of people still haven't done actually, and some big sites still haven't done, is that you must buy something called an SSL certificate, and whoever's looking after your website you'll be able to buy them from them, or you can buy it from 123reg or GoDaddy or whoever you've got your URL purchased with. And it just means that instead of saying HTTP, it says, as you say, Amanda, HTTPS, and it just makes it secure. And any site that doesn't have that, Google is instantly just not giving any time of day to. And
the reason that this became up as such a much bigger issue is because Google Chrome, which is generally the most popular browser, if your site doesn't have a secure certificate of some description, even a basic one, Google will say this site is not secure in the address bar, which is it's a very poor experience for users.
Or it flags it up and doesn't even let you see the site and says this isn't secure. Would you like to go back to safety?
It makes it seem like it's been hacked, when actually it's okay, it's fine. It's just not encrypted in any way, which you really should do. And it's not a huge cost. You can get some very expensive secure, SSL certificates. But you can also pick one up for,
like £20.
Set it up for £20, get someone to implement it for, probably under 50.
Yeah.
So what's actually going new for AM? Because it's been 18 months.
Well, yeah.
The last time you came on, I mean, I'm sure you've won some awards since then.
Yeah.
Taken on
a little bit of talking,
world domination.
We're not trying to take over the world.
We're trying to take over the world. We just want to give good quality. Yeah. So for us, it's all been about, we've done a lot more stuff in Europe. So we're partnered with Kent International Business now, with a load of our other friends in the digital community. So we've been travelling to the Netherlands and to France and setting up a load of partnerships with businesses over there. It's a European-led initiative, so we're getting the most fit out while we can. But it's actually been really great for developing these relationships and also enhancing our relationships with the people we collaborate with in the UK. And we've got loads of business from it, just from just doing talks, and we went to Dutch Design Week, which was absolutely amazing. We've done loads of stuff in France. It just shows you how wide the community is outside of the Kent bubble. Yeah, exactly. Loads of stuff in London as well. We've actually been working on because in Canada we do a lot of work in Canada.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you get to go over and visit your clients?
We don't, unfortunately. We went over to Vancouver once, but that's because we were skiing at the time. We thought, we'll pop over.
Just drop
Tell
that
us what
in.
you did in Canada then. Let's elaborate a bit more on that.
So actually, the main thing we've been doing is helping investors invest in the cannabis market.
Interesting.
Yes, because it's recently in the summer it became legal in Canada, the cannabis. So business over there in the cannabis market is just huge. These massive expanses of cannabis farms and different products, and investing, particularly people from the UK investing in the Canadian market, is massive. So we've been pushing a lot of videos and we've been helping a lot of investment firms in the UK place money within the Canadian market.
So you can say you work within cannabis.
Exactly.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. As well, as far as Canada is now concerned, it is a prescription drug.
Yes.
And the rules on prescription drug advertising are incredibly tight.
Very, very tight.
Right, yeah.
But the rules on illegal drugs are even tighter, to the point where obviously you can't advertise anything. So the transition in Canada has been very interesting from an advertising point of view, to go from what is essentially an illegal drug to a controlled drug. And what that means for us is we have to be very smart about advertising. You can't use certain words, you can use other words. And it means that we can obviously apply that learning, not just in that sector, but to millions of other things.
Yes. So it's very, very hard to advertise anything medical on Google. So in the last sort of year, we've been we've done loads of training and really enhance actually advertising medical products within the UK and the US and Canada, and see what's allowed, what we can do, how we can actually help medical businesses that need to get their names out there but can't do it themselves because you basically put an ad live and Google just goes, nope, not allowed. So that's been a huge part of growth of our business, and now sort of a niche sector that we deal with now, medical businesses and medical products.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And I like sometimes you end up having a bit of a niche sector that you didn't necessarily look for or go after.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens because of clients approach you.
Exactly, clients approach you, and we like to think that we don't do anything on a punt. We always, if we can't do something perfectly, we go and get training, make sure that it's being done properly, learn as much as we can. We've got our great Google rep that gives us loads of advice. So it's been great. Yeah, it's been amazing to sort of learn that part about a different sector.
You're saying there's always new to learn. Is there anything else? Because we are unfortunately running fast out of time.
Sorry.
It always is the way. Is there anything else you think people should know that is new or is about or coming with digital marketing?
Chatbots. So they use, yes,
really?
Chatbots are huge. They're on the increase. Loads of more businesses are using them.
Can we start from a basic? What is a chatbot?
So essentially, when you go online and it says in the corner, "Do you want to chat with us?" But it's not a human.
Okay.
Do you
a
need
bot.
any help with?
No, I'll look for what I want to look for. Thank you very much.
All right. So they can do basically just basic tasks. So it could be basic advice, helping with them with basically just anything that a human doesn't need to do. So on Facebook, that can be even asking for a weather report, and the Facebook chatbot will give it to you, but also helping them with little admin roles and things like that. To take away the need for human interaction and to give a better service. But it's being used in anywhere from sort of one-man band businesses all the way up to global multinationals. It's become much more accessible. It's no longer a thing that only the big guys use. So yeah, you're going to be seeing chatbots on the increase without a doubt. So it's definitely something to consider.
I haven't got enough time. I want to know how they work. We'll have to cover this. Very brief.
They're getting a lot smarter, but actually they're getting a lot simpler as well. So you can program it to look for certain keywords and questions, or you can make the chat box ask the customer a question. So they might message and say something about a complaint about a delivery, for example, and it can trigger delivery, and it will go, okay, what's your order number? When was it meant to be delivered? And it will get all this information, and then at that point the bot would hand it over to a human, and you'd get a little notification of an email, that your phone would ring and say, right, this person's delivery hasn't arrived. It was meant to be here. This is the order number. They paid for extra delivery. Their stress level is 9 out of 10 because they've used certain words.
So there's a certain amount or AI is involved that they're establishing what the customer's asking, and whether they can answer the questions or whether you need
exactly.
to.
It's all about saving time. So that process could have saved that person 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And in all the cases where a human isn't involved, then the chatbot sorts it out, and that's not required. So it's all about efficiency.
It's unlikely that we're in a position where the chatbot can deal with it by themselves entirely, and a human doesn't need to get involved. But it can take a lot of the monotonous, repetitive tasks away to improve that person's experience on both sides, for the business and the customer. Because
now it's known that most young people, and I don't like using the word millennial, but most people under the age of 35 will expect a response in 9 minutes. So whether you are emailing someone, whether you're filling in a contact form on a website, they'll expect on average a response or something within 9 minutes.
Yeah, I'll answer you tomorrow.
Yeah. So a chatbot is a perfect way to make sure that person gets something within the time that they're expecting it.
Either that, or we need to educate these younger people. Patience is really good. Just wait a little bit of time and you'll get quality answers.
Patience is very 1995.
Yeah.
On that note, we have come to the end of the show. I just quickly want to give a shout out for some events coming up. So just quickly give a shout out, guys, if people haven't called you before, how they can get hold of you.
Okay, you can get hold of us on Twitter and Instagram at marketing_AM, our website, which will be new and improved soon.
Yeah, building a new one.
Yes, ammarketing.co.uk. And if you want to talk to me as a speaker, I have a new website that launched yesterday, which is www.amymcmanus.co.uk.
That's breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah,
Here and now. First to
Thank
hear.
you guys so much. It's great to have you. Always great to have you on.
It goes so quickly.
If we have to do a regular thing, we can keep us updated.
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay, just quickly some dates for your day. Put it in Friday the 8th of March, which actually surprisingly is not that long away. It is International Women's Day. And myself, Butterflies Events, our team and Aspinall Foundation have joined up together to give you an International Women's Day with a difference, event with a difference, at Portland of course. But there was going to be networking with the animals, and there's going to be inspirational speakers. There's going to be an amazing lunch and lots of different networking activities. We'd love you to join us. If you go to butterfliesevents.co.uk/IWD event for more details, 8th of March, check that out. 1st to the 3rd of May, Social Day, go to socialday.co.uk. 9th of May, go to venueseventsexpo.co.uk for the next Venues and Events Expo Southeast. And the 31st of May is the next ZC Live. Go to zcsocialmedia.co.uk. We'll cover those in more details next week. Thank you so much, Gemma, for co-hosting this week.
You're welcome.
Next week on the show, I have our cybersecurity expert, Richard, is back, and our guests are Tracy Ferguson and Lisa Settle. Don't forget to listen to Paul's show on Tuesday, 1 till 3. He always has a great line for guests. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.